So I'm going to take a second to discuss our background today. I don't have space to be in my actual recording studio, so hopefully this works for today. With the MLB postseason officially underway, there is no better time to talk about every postseason team's best, or just randomest, player uh, to, to be represented by a bird. So the Atlanta Braves, they had a very disappointing season. They were projected to have the best, and I mean the best record in baseball, and they ended up sneaking into a wild card spot and getting knocked out first round. And obviously they had some injuries to everyone under the sun, but so did the Dodgers, so no excuses. The player I chose for them was Marcell Ozuna because, he's like the Braves. He's old, he's senile, but obviously I gotta compare him to a bird. And there's a bird that is very obvious in the comparison, and that is the bald eagle. And I gotta say, Marcell Ozuna is looking patriotic, representing that 30% of America that's bald. I know the Twins got eliminated, but I feel so bad for Minnesota fans that I'm willing to give them a bird anyway, because that was a Mets-like collapse. I mean, the fact that the New York Mets are in the Royce Lewis obviously represents the Twins. A lot of young talent over there, a lot of just old talent over there, a lot of mediocre talent over. Point being, they have a lot of talent, and Royce Lewis might be the most talented player in baseball. He's just very rare to come across. Put him down as a bald eagle because he is also bald. But you could find any extinct bird and say that because of his injury history. I wouldn't be mad at you. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the best team in Major League Baseball. Obviously, I'm going to talk on their $700 million superstar, but first let's talk about their worst player, Miguel Rojas. Personally hate him. That's my take. Miguel Rojas is actually a dodo bird because they are extinct. And there's a really good chance his name is extinct from league history soon. Shohei Ohtani is a duck because they can fly and swim. And also they swim in cool formations. So the Dodgers looking promising so far. I'm recording this during Game 5 of the CS. Mets lead 12 to whatever the score is. I stopped watching after the 5th. A good season so far. Jordan Alvarez is a hawk because he's big, black, and can eat anything that comes near it. And by anything that comes near it, I mean hit a homer on anything near the strike zone. The Astros were this team that were expected to steamroll into the World Series again, and instead they made a wild card and got knocked out first round. Sound familiar? Jose Iglesias and the New York Mets. The Mets are the darlings of the MLB this year. Everyone wants to see them succeed except for us. But the bird I'm going to be relating him to is a toucan because they are very good at making art. Toucan is just a beautiful painting on a bird, and Jose Iglesias made this beautiful song. Oh my god. The Mets have had a very good season relative to expectations. Remember a year ago when Max Scherzer said he was leaving the Mets because they were basically punting on 2024? Look where that got him. Not this year, hopefully, but next year they can go back to the CS and then lose to the Dodgers again. San Diego Padres. God, there's not a team I hate more. The Padres were undisputedly the best team in baseball during the second half. And going into the postseason, they had a lot of momentum. They went up 2 games to 1 against the Dodgers, and then LA, obliterated them. A very good season for the Padres. Obviously, you can talk about their superstar who's young, like Jackson Merrill, or Fernando Tatis Jr., But the player I'm going to select to represent them in this video is Manny Machado. The reason that Manny Machado is a dove is because he's fat but very underrated. I mean, this guy can consistently put up 30 homer seasons in his 30s. This is a guy I expect to have a 120 OPS plus at the ripe age of 45 years old. I mean, this is David Ortiz levels of productivity. Detroit Tigers, surprises of the NFL. Damn. Tigers, surprises of the MLB this year. AL Central was a division we thought were going to be terrible, and most of the teams there were good. Keyword most. The Royals and Tigers both made the postseason as wildcard teams. And the Guardians also made the postseason. So the Tigers, no one expected them to be this far along. Obviously got knocked out early, but hey, this is as good of a start to this dynasty as Tigers fans could have hoped. But Kerry Carpenter, one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated baseball player. He's a Raven because he's great, like, all year long, but he only ever gets attention in October. Yeah, get this man more credit, more fans, more live. You know what? Maybe don't do that last one, but get this man famous. Are the Yankees and the Guardians. Guardians and Yankees are playing in the ALCS right now, and I'm gonna call this one. The Yankees have a pretty easy win. So I wrote down my script before Aaron Judge actually woke up in the postseason, and same with Jose Ramirez. But still, I'm gonna say Aaron Judge and Jose Ramirez are turkeys because they only show up after October already ended. Obviously, Yankees expected to be here. Guardians, quick turnaround. They can spend some more money. They're gonna win a lot of games. So there's a bird that goes really fast, but people only ever talked about them in 1992. That's the Percheron Falcon. It can reach speeds of insane velocities, almost half of what I throw my curveball at. And there's a baseball player who runs really fast. Almost half as I. Obviously, I'm joking. I throw like 70 miles an hour on a good day. I run like 15 miles an hour. But this player is Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. is really, really good. And he's fast. And he's flashy. But when it gets to October, he's kind of yesterday's news. I mean, everyone was talking about him at the beginning of the season. He kept his production going, and everyone shifted their focus to Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. Heck, even Gunnar Henderson was getting more love during the second half. When Adley Rutschman gets more love during the second half than you, that's not good. The next one only applies to Canada. Adley Rutschman is a goose in the northern United States because he only shows up for half of the year. I mean, really, he had a terrible second half. Still far and away the best active catcher in the league, but that was not good to see. He's young. He's got a lot of potential. He's already shown that potential. He's got a lot of experience. He's going to be good. He is going to come back with a vengeance and be better than he ever has. But that's the wrong time for the Orioles to get cold for Adley Rutschman. Orioles as a whole, after last year, we expected them to be here. I personally picked them to lose in the wild card game. And guess what they did? Willy Adames is a pigeon because he's half decent. He's not good, don't get me wrong, but he's half decent. The only issue is how unbelievably annoying this man is. Brewers as a whole, I mean, ever since 2016, they've been a really solid franchise. Not spending too much money developing homegrown talent, masters of the trade. But that doesn't mean anything. Because they keep losing immediately. Ronald Acuna Jr., and I'm going to add in Mike Trout, even though he was nowhere near the playoffs, but, he kind of deserves to be on here. Here are Stressman's bristle fronts, which are the world's rarest and most threatened, endangered birds. Because they're really cool, just, never able to be on the field. Braves as a whole, I already talked about them. Big time collapse. Zach Wheeler is a Cardinal. That sentence sounded cursed. Zach Wheeler is a Cardinal because he's criminally underrated. I mean, he might be the best pitcher since Randy Johnson. I mean, Randy Johnson, best pitcher of all time, in my opinion. We've had a lot of good Hall of Fame talent pitchers since then, but Zach Wheeler has shown way more consistency than I think anyone since Randy Johnson has. The Cardinal is the best bird. Just they get seen so much that they're so underrated. It's kind of like my YouTube channel. It gets seen so little that it's so underrated. Well, that's kind of the opposite of the Cardinal. Can't beat that one. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more content, click here, click here. Otherwise, subscribe on your way out. Peace. Sorry, Sambucha.